Thank you very much for all of you for coming to this presentation about reducing waste, saving food. My name is Peter Gila, and I'm presenting together today with
Jiti, or you can call me Jitka as well.
About this topic. The presentation might look a bit spontaneous, which actually is, because we just found today out at 9 o'clock that we have the possibility to speak about this very important topic. So that's why we didn't download the pictures, but we just, for instance, Googled them. But I hope the presentation will be still interesting for you. We would start with just briefly introducing ourselves for going deeper into the topic. So my name is Peter Gila. I live in Vienna, where I also grew up. What I do professionally, I have my own language school for German as a foreign language. I work as a teacher as well. And in my free time, for me, sustainability is a very important topic. And recently I also started participating in an organization which is called food sharing. And later on I will speak more about this, but now I will hand on to Jitka so she can present herself as well.
Yes, thank you very much. So my name is Jitka. Maybe some of you have already been to my workshop or like a little presentation about veganism as well. So that's a topic that I'm very passionate about. And also this summer, I'm going to be attending a summer school in Amsterdam related to climate change. We're going to be also going to Greenpeace as well. So I would say that this is also a topic that I'm very interested in. So I will be also adding some little information to Peter's presentation.
So I also would like to make the presentation a bit interactive. How the presentation is built up. The first part is going to be also a bit your personal experience with food waste, and then Jitka and I'm speaking also about where food is wasted, what can you do about it, some facts and figures. And the second part, I will show you 2 short videos about the organization Food Sharing, and I will also speak about how the organization is built up, what you can do there. So maybe we can start with the first question. Who doesn't know the organization Food Sharing? And we make it like this, so if the answer is yes, you know it, then you just stand up. So you can also move a bit, it activates the brain. So everybody who knows the organization Food Sharing, please stand up. Okay, so nobody knows it. All right, so Jitka continues with the second question.
The second question is, do you think that throwing away good food is a bad thing?
So if you think, yes, it's a bad thing, please stand up.
Yeah. Yeah, or you can raise your hand, that's fine if someone has some difficulties.
Yeah, if you have difficulty stand up, you can still raise your hand, but it should be also activating you. So I know it's 11 in the morning, but still, if you can stand up, it will activate your brain. The third question is, do you think that the lime and the lemon, which we will pass now through the auditorium, can still be eaten? So you said the last person, not anymore. Why?
Yeah, okay.
But it's the outside of the lemon. The inside is not damaged.
And another question is, would you actually buy this in a supermarket for full price?
So maybe first with the third question. So the question was if you would still eat this. So all of you who say you would still eat this lemon or the lime, please stand up. All right. And from all those who are standing, who would buy this in a supermarket for the full price? Okay, so the next question is?
The next question is whether you would buy this actually for half of the price. Interesting to see that.
All right, so I would like to add a short thing about this. What happened actually in Austria in the recent years, which I really think is a very, very good thing. A lot of supermarket chains started a policy of reducing food shortly before they expire. So either on the same day or maybe a few days before. Here behind me you see, for instance, from the supermarket Spar, these -25 and -50% stickers where it stands that Lebensmittel sind wertvoll, so food is valuable, which wasn't there like 5-6 years ago and which came up recently. I don't know if you would like to add something to this in the supermarkets.
Yeah, well, I must say, I live in Germany, and very often I also notice that, for example, since the stores are all closed on Sunday, I noticed that on Saturday you're also able to buy a lot of products that are, reduced, like minus 30%, minus 50%, and I like to buy this, not just because, I save a couple of cents, but it's also the feeling like, okay, otherwise this would be thrown away. They couldn't resell it on Monday, so I think this is really a good thing. But yeah, as you said, like it's something we have been noticing only in the last few years.
So the next question is, you've seen the lemon and the lime we gave through the auditorium. So do you think a supermarket would throw these fruits away? Who says yes, please stand up. Those who say no, they would still sell it. Please remain seated. Yes, the question is, do you think a supermarket would throw these fruits away? Yeah, actually, this is something that we collected today at the campus here, and it is actually waste. So they told me that they wouldn't sell it anymore. So if I hadn't taken it with me, they would have thrown it away. So the next question.
The next question is: would you eat a yogurt one day after the best before date?
In German, it's called Mindesthaltbarkeitsdatum. So one day after it's expired. Okay, so no, you can. Please remain standing. Please remain standing. So one day after the expiry date. So now we moved 1 week further. So 1 week after the best before date. Yogurt, normal yogurt. 1 week. Okay. 1 month. The best before date. Yeah. So after product reached or passed its best before date, you should trust your senses. I mean, it can be that the product is not good anymore, but after that, you should always trust your senses. You can smell it, you can see the color, you can taste it. Greenpeace actually made a study in Austria last year. There was also a big campaign about this. That actually yogurt, which they started testing, was still edible 16 weeks after the best before date. So they made the campaign with these pictures and these sujets. So Obst macht dumm. Yeah, fruit makes you stupid, and then it's written, don't believe everything what's written on an egg, especially not the best before date. Because eggs are still possible to be eaten like 6 to 8 weeks after the best before date. 10 weeks. The eggs were still edible 10 weeks after the best before date. Here the second sujet is, hier stand einst die Berliner Mauer. And then it's also written, don't believe everything that's written on a cheese, not the best before date, because cheese is actually, depending on the type of cheese, of course, 6 weeks after the best before date. And the yogurt, it's 16 weeks. Yeah, it doesn't mean that always the yogurt is still possible to be eaten, but after the best before date has been reached, yeah, you can still try it, you can still taste it. Yeah, and this was a scientific research, so they tested it in the laboratory if there are any genes or anything.
To this, because I've just remembered, for example, my grandma, she still had a lot of cans from the Second World War at home, and they opened it literally after like decades, and it was still fine. So of course, if something has to be in the fridge, then you cannot probably leave it there for years and then still eat it. But if it's something that is really in a can, then you can really keep it for years and years, and it's usually still fine. I mean, I personally sometimes buy I love food, so I buy a lot of it, and sometimes I would forget about it, and then half a year later, I would, for example, still eat the chickpeas from the can, and they are still fine because, yeah, there is some salt or something to kind of keep it. Yeah.
For eggs or if for canned food? For eggs. Ah, cool. So if it sinks, it's good. Yeah, with the egg you can also check if the yolk is still one piece or if it flows apart. So if it's still one piece, usually the egg is still good. So what is important though, that the cool chain is not interrupted. So this information is provided. So let's say if the yogurt is standing in the sun for 2 days, probably it's not good anymore. So the last question on these best before dates or consumption dates. So with minced meat, Hackfleisch, would you eat it one day after the consumption date, after Verbrauchsdatum? So those who would eat it one day after, please stand up. Yeah. You should not. Yeah. There are some there are some products where this is not valid. Yeah, so it's not like that. You can eat everything after the date that is written on it. So especially some delicate food with like minced meat or also like raw food with raw eggs in it after the egg has been opened. Please be careful. Yeah, so it's not like that food sharing. They eat everything 1 or 2 weeks after. So they really make a distinction. Is it still edible or not? Yeah, and something is necessary to be thrown away to avoid health risks. Yeah, and minced meat is very delicate for that. Do you want to add something to it?
Yeah, also, because I was doing a bit of research before. So, for example, what was quite interesting for me is that I was interested in like knowing where is the food wasted the most. Because we usually think of just the end. So basically, supermarkets just have more food that than they are actually able to sell. However, when I was doing my research, I also found out that especially in developing countries, the problem already happens at the beginning. So, for example, some farmers, they are just in urgent need of cash, so they would harvest some of the produce even before it's ready. Or, for example, the technology is not so advanced, so the machines that they would use, they are not able to actually harvest all of the crops. So there, at this point, we are already losing a lot of food that could be just, fed to people.
Yeah, and another thing which I would like to add to this, you see the carrots in the picture. Have you seen carrots like this in a supermarket? Yes, you have? Mm-hmm. 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 Great. You also raise your hand? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, in Austria, also some supermarket chains have a brand for deformed products, so to say, and they're called Wunderlinge, like Wanderlings, and they are also a bit cheaper. Do you know why the carrot grows like this? What can be the reason? Yeah, a rock in the earth. Yeah, in the soil. So now we would like you to reflect a bit about the last 7 days. So pair up in groups of 2 or 3, maybe 4, and for a few minutes, think about what you have thrown away of edible food in the last 7 days. Everybody does it, probably. So just think about carefully and also why you did it. And maybe you can discuss it with a neighbor. You don't have to tell us, yeah, I threw away 1 kilo of this and that, yeah. But maybe you can discuss it and become also a bit more aware of your own consumption and what you have thrown away. And also why. You didn't like it, yeah, it was just there and you bought too much. Yeah, so I give you a few minutes now. And I'm sure there are some things which you threw away. Yeah, even if it's just a small piece of vegetable. Would you like to add something to this?
Because I was also reading that, for example, in Asda, which is like a supermarket in the UK, they basically would throw this away as well. And yeah, the reason was that customers cannot peel it in one stroke, so then they don't buy. But at the same time, if you do a customer survey, many people would buy it. Imagine the results.
Yeah, this
You
is
would
so much
actually
fun.
buy this one because it's a much more
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
And that's how you would actually get kids, actually be even interested in it. It's not really, they would like, no, I'd rather something else, like chocolate or whatever. But this would like be fun and eventually, the parents ask them like, so kids, what does it look like, right? So I
yeah.
think that, we call it like the bad ugly, but at the same time it can actually have its benefits.
Would you like to add this to the numbers? Basically, after that, I will start the food sharing
So I
part.
can
So I don't have anything to add. Maybe then you can maybe also moderate the discussion a bit afterwards. So after we start discussing, you maybe ask if somebody wants to share the experience, and then you can tell your piece about
as long as we
parrot.
still have the picture.
Yes, because now it's 18, so in like 5 minutes we can go to the next topic, and then we finish at 40.
I'm very curious about the organization, like what exactly is it? But do you have some other experiences?
No, I don't know this. Maybe there are.
Because I already started to consider that this is a topic that interests me as well. Because
Maybe they live in Germany. Because in Germany it's even bigger.
okay, so if I actually make it there, so was it already 2 minutes?
I think yes, but the people are really.
First, I was expecting to be quiet. Shall we start?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, guys, so thank you very much. I'm so happy to see that, all of you are discussing, so that means that you have something to share. So is there someone who would like to maybe share their story or the examples that you were able to think of? We would be super happy to hear about it.
I'll confess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been traveling for a few months, and every time we leave a city, there's always leftover food. Because we're usually like, we just have backpacks. We end up throwing out a lot of food. We try not to buy more than we're going to use, but sometimes when you buy rice, sometimes the bag is like this big, and you're just not going to use all that food. When you don't necessarily speak the language, you don't necessarily know where to bring something like that, half bag of rice, or you just kind of leave it on the street, I guess.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Someone else would like to share
I want
something?
to add. If you travel to German-speaking countries, I will show you a solution for that.
Yeah. Okay, because I can also think of an example now, although actually it's not a situation where I was wasting food, but like a solution to it. So for example, I travel quite a lot. Also in my previous job, I used to do a lot of business trips, and sometimes I would just buy, like a lot of mushrooms or like potatoes and stuff like this, and I would just realize the day before leaving that I'm not able to eat it all. And I don't know if this is a Berlin thing, because I live in Berlin in Germany, but it happens very often that people just leave stuff in the corridor of the house. And this is something that I noticed, like, for example, people would leave like some old books that they don't need anymore and stuff like this. So I would just like grab, for example, the box of the champignon, of like the mushrooms, and I would just put it in the corridor, like on the ground floor, so I would know that, all my neighbors would pass by, and then I would just leave a little zettel or like a little note that would say like, I'm leaving for holidays, I was not able to eat it all, feel free to grab it. And sometimes I would just leave it there in the morning, then I would be leaving, let's say, around lunchtime, and it's always gone, like always someone takes it. Probably if I put it in the street, then people would be suspicious, but if it's literally like between neighbors, then people are just happy to do it. And so this really works well.
Yeah, also in Austria, you can see it in Vienna. Yeah, this thing happening. Yeah, so thank you also for the discussion. It was great to hear that you had so much to talk about. And now I move to the second part, which is actually the organization food sharing, which I will present you. So basically, Food Sharing is an organization that was founded in Berlin in 2012. So it is quite recent, and it quite quickly spread across Germany, and then also to Austria, and also to the German part of Switzerland. Up to now, it's mainly in the German-speaking countries. So it hasn't spread international yet, but there is the plan that it also goes international. And it started basically that some dumpsters. Does everybody know what dumpstering is? Like taking garbage out of the trash. That they thought, okay, why is it happening that supermarkets throw it away and then they have to dumpster it? So why not go directly to the supermarkets, and at the moment before they throw it away, they just take it. And they also know the cool chain is kept, for instance, and also the food is in a better condition, and it's also official, and it's not like illegal dumpstering. So food sharing, you can do several different things. So this is the website. There is one for Austria and also for Germany. So it's foodsharing.at or foodsharing.de. And you can have your own login area. So this is basically the website where everything is coordinated. And what can you do on food sharing? So the three most frequent or most often done things are that if you're a food sharer, you can put food baskets for that somebody can take it. So for instance, these are all the food baskets which are in the German-speaking countries. So you can scroll down, and after you have done the login, for instance, you can see that here is a food basket with this food. Yeah, actually, that's ours, which we posted, but the people were not fast enough to ask for this food, so that's why I took it today in the morning to Bratislava. So here you can put on the food baskets. Online. There is another food basket here. So somebody, for instance, bought these things, and then there is a description. For instance, they bought too much, they didn't like it, whatever. And then you can contact the person on this platform and arrange where you pick up the food. So you know where the food comes from. So this is a possibility if you travel to across German-speaking countries, for instance, that you put a food basket online. It requires some coordination work, but this is how it works. Then there is a second thing which everybody can do who is not even registered on the platform. There are the so-called, on the right top side you see Verteiler. These are public fridges. So in Vienna there are around 30-35 public fridges. You can just go to the fridge, take anything you need or you want, and you can put anything you don't need into the fridge. And for instance, here you have this fridge, and people also post what they brought. So for instance, somebody got 15 kilos of apples, for instance, and then they can post it here so everybody knows something was brought to the fridge. So when I'm collecting food, sometimes I also go to these fridges. I just leave the things there, and if it's a lot, I post it. And it is really working well. So not only in Vienna, but also in the other German-speaking countries. So usually whenever food sharing is active in a city, they usually have this kind of fridge. So if somebody of you is traveling in a German-speaking country, you don't even have to register. You can just check where is the nearest fridge, which is open at the time when I pass by. So it's in schools sometimes, it's in restaurants, it's in cafes, and it's very easy. You just go there, you put your stuff there, and people are very happy to take it for free. I mentioned for free, everything here is for free, so you don't earn money, you don't earn money by collecting it, so everything is voluntary work, and also you must not earn money with the food. So I cannot sell it, I can just give it away, and it's the spirit of this, and this is also what I absolutely say to everybody. It's not the food should not be used for money. Yeah, so you give it away for free, and maybe you noticed that it's how the word Verteiler is written. Did you see how it's written? Oops. Yeah, it's called Verteiler. Yeah, the German word verteilen means distribute, but it's written a bit differently. So the word is written with a V. Yeah, I will just write it down. So to distribute, it's verteilen. Yeah, and somebody who is distributing is a Verteiler, and they just change it. Yeah, so that's also a bit of a word joke. So what I will do now is I will show you a short video. Sorry, I missed one thing. And then there are also the food savers, which I am also. So I'm accredited food saver. So I also go to companies and I get the food which is left over. So for instance, yesterday my boyfriend picked up food at the place. At 10 o'clock in the evening, and then we took it home, we put it in the fridge, and today in the morning I brought it to Bratislava. So I will show you a short video. It will be in German. I hope you still understand it, but the picture should be self-speaking. So 3 minutes from this video.
Die weltweit jedes Jahr produziert werden 1,3 Milliarden Tonnen verschwendet. 2 Drittel davon sind vermeidbar. Über 1 Million Kilo Lebensmittel konnten dank Zehntausender Hände gerettet und verteilt werden. Schön, dass du gemeinsam mit vielen anderen Menschen deinen Teil dazu beitragen möchtest, die Verschwendung von Lebensmitteln zu stoppen. In diesem Video erfährst du, welche Möglichkeiten Foodsharing hierfür gibt. Sobald du dich bei Foodsharing angemeldet hast, bist du Foodsharer und kannst Essenskörbe mit der Community teilen und auch abholen. Angenommen, du hast Lebensmittel übrig, für die du keine Verwendung mehr hast, weil du zum Beispiel in den Urlaub fährst oder beim letzten Fest nicht alles aufgegessen wurde, dann kannst du diese in einen digitalen Essenskorb legen und veröffentlichen, um sie zu verschenken. Alle Essenskörbe sind auf einer Übersichtskarte sichtbar und können von Interessenten aus der Community angefragt werden. Ihr vereinbart dann einen Zeitpunkt, zu dem die Lebensmittel entweder an einem von dir festgelegten Treffpunkt oder bei dir zu Hause abgeholt werden können. Eine andere Möglichkeit bieten unsere Verteiler, die ebenfalls auf der Karte sichtbar sind. Das sind Orte mit einem Kühlschrank oder einem Regal, zu denen du überschüssige Lebensmittel bringen kannst. Diese können dann wiederum von anderen kostenlos mitgenommen werden. Natürlich darfst du dich am Vorhandenen bedienen, ohne selbst etwas mitgebracht zu haben. Denn es geht nicht darum zu tauschen, sondern den Überschuss dorthin zu verteilen, wo er Verwendung findet. Über ein Upgrade kannst du zum Foodsaver werden. Hierfür ist es wichtig, dass du dich im Vorfeld informierst, indem du die entsprechenden Dokumente im Wiki liest. Du kannst dann überschüssige Lebensmittel auch von kooperierenden Betrieben abholen. Als Foodsaver behältst du, wenn du möchtest, so viele Lebensmittel für dich, wie du essen oder an private Kontakte verschenken kannst. Alles andere wird auf foodsharing.de eingestellt bzw. an Suppenküchen, Tafeln, Bahnhofsmissionen oder gemeinnützige Vereine verteilt. Für den Betrieb stellst du eine Entlastung dar, wenn du über
Yeah, so here they explain also the other possibilities at food sharing, because there are also like regional managers, so to say, or ambassadors. But these are the three most frequent things you do on food sharing. I'm also a food saver myself. So to become one, you need to pass a quiz and make some trials with experienced food savers that they see that you can do it. And yeah, and afterwards you will get your ID card for this. So I will show you also a very short second video about a girl who is working as a food saver, that you can imagine how it looks like to pick up stuff in a supermarket in this case. So this is from a documentary, but I will just show you the first 3 minutes. And actually, if you're learning German, there are a lot of German videos on this topic. So if you go on food sharing on the platform on YouTube, you can find a lot of videos in the German languages if this topic is interesting for you.
Wenn man mit Foodsharing anfängt und sich damit auseinandersetzt, dann fängt man automatisch an, sich mit der kompletten Lebensmittelindustrie auseinanderzusetzen. Was macht das mit unserem Planeten? Die Überfischung der Ozeane, Was macht das mit dem CO2-Haushalt? Aber irgendwann kommt man auch an den Punkt, wo man sich fragen muss, Moment mal, was macht das eigentlich auch mit mir? So, wenn ich das esse, was ich von der Lebensmittelindustrie vorgesetzt bekomme als Nahrungsmittel, macht mich das eigentlich wirklich gesund oder macht mich das eher krank? Und dann fängt man eben an zu recherchieren, setzt sich auseinander mit der Milchindustrie, mit der Eierproduktion und Foodsharing ist da eben insofern wichtig, weil es, wie gesagt, einfach dieses komplette Bewusstsein formt bzw. stärkt für die eigene Ernährung. Da ist sie.
Oh, der Milch müsst ihr überlegen, die ist bis zum 18. Also heute ist der 20.
Das ist ja wieder die Sache mit dem Mindesthaltbarkeitsdatum, heißt nur, sie ist halt am besten davor, das heißt aber nicht, dass man sie danach nicht noch... Genau.
Eine Sauerei, das möchte ich dir nicht anbieten.
Ach du, doch.
Ja,
wenn es essbar ist.
Es ist essbar. Da ist irgendwas von irgendeinem anderen Gefäß darüber gelöst.
Das macht nichts, das, was da drin ist,
Ja.
Das nehmen wir auf jeden Fall mit. Ein schönes Ausdauertraining.
Ja, der braucht
Nee, genau. Mach noch was Sinnvolles dabei. Ist auch irgendwie besser als Fitnessstudio sogar.
Genau. So,
Ja,
jetzt
danke
noch
dir.
zum Brot.
Genau.
Hallo.
Schau mal, Gabriele, ich glaube, das ist immer hier. Genau.
Das weißt du besser.
Ja.
Guck mal. Ach, super.
Beim Super Biomarkt kriegen wir wirklich immer ganz viel frisches Biobrot, Biobrötchen. Super lecker. Und auch die Kühlware nehmen wir, weil das darf die Tafel hier nicht nehmen. So viel kriegen wir tatsächlich eigentlich immer 3 bis 4 Mal in der Woche. Ich hole besonders hier gerne ab und auch bei...
Yeah, so this is basically how a collection of food works. It doesn't take a lot of time, and you see this is just one supermarket, one day, and she said 3 to 4 times a week they pick up this amount of food, and this is just one supermarket in one city in Germany. And this is basically the end also of the talk. So if somebody is interested to take part in food sharing, also maybe to make it international, feel free to contact me after the presentation. I will be still here, but now it's time for your questions. We still have, I think, 10 minutes until the end. I checked on Slido, there were no questions, but maybe you have questions which you would like to ask directly to us, either to Jitka or to me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's an app only, and they show nearby restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
They take part of the program,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of sell food that
Mm-hmm.
is not sold in the evening. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So after work, you can check on the app, and then you can go to restaurants that have still
Mm-hmm.
food, and they make it for you, and it's like half of the price, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
or even less.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have like a food that normally would cost about €10 or just €3,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be garbage anyways.
Mm-hmm. And in which countries is it active? Do you know?
It's like in the middle of Europe, maybe in Scandinavia.
Mhm.
So it's actually it was a fusion between 2 apps. One was in Germany, one in Norwegian,
Mhm.
Gila also. So it's like middle of Europe, I guess.
Mhm.
There's one also that's called So Good to Go.
Mhm.
It's an app as well. Like in English, no network, I mean no numbers. So
Mhm.
Good to Go. And it's the idea is the same. I didn't know about the rescue, but like no.
Mhm.
And its idea is exactly the same.
Mhm. Any other questions?
I've got a question about Austria and Germany.
Mhm.
They have the same system, same technology.
The technology behind it is the platform. So the platform is, as far as I know, it's the same background. It's just a different ending, like AT and NDE. So basically, it's quite professional. So that you have a login, and then you can check the companies that you're picking up food from. So I'm picking up food at between 10 and 15 companies, and then I can register for certain dates. So for instance, I can register next week at 9 o'clock at a certain restaurant, for instance, and then I have to be there at 9, and also all the instructions, which kind of stuff you should bring, like should it be bags or rather like boxes, it's written there, and then also the team can exchange the experience. And for every restaurant, for every supermarket, there is 1 or 2 or even 3 responsible food savers. So like a manager of the food saving team, so to say. And this concept is the same in all 3 food saving countries, yes, food sharing countries. There are very, if you look at the map, there are a few food savers, I believe in the Netherlands. But in other countries, it's not that widespread. I mean, the website is also exclusively in German, but the Food Sharing International team, which I'm not part of, but I know that they are looking for people abroad who would like to spread the idea. So if you have an organization, you know people, you know an organization which would be interested in this, you can either ask me or connect directly with the responsible international team. Because Vienna is also not far, so if especially like for Slovakia, it might be interesting to get experience in Vienna. You can even just go there, make some experience, and then you can build it up also in Slovakia. Oh, oops. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, we have it also in Austria and Germany. It's called the Tafel, but there are also other organizations. Usually, food sharing cooperates with smaller businesses. Let's say bakery, where at the end of the day you have between 1 and 10 kilos. Whereas they rather pick up several hundreds of kilos. And here it can also happen, you go somewhere and there is no food left, which actually is a good sign. It's a good thing if you go there and you cannot take anything with you, because they could sell everything. But sometimes it happened, I went to a restaurant and the 3 of us, we took in total like 30, 40 kilos. And it's just one buffet, one restaurant. Mm-hmm.
The process, how she gathers food, but like if she gathers food a few times a week, what happens to this food?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you continue watching this documentary, so you will see that that she will meet with other food sharers and food savers. They will exchange the food, and then they will, I think, make it available for university students. So there is a cafe. I don't remember exactly the ending, but I think it's like it's a cafe where they just put the food as a verteiler. But you can keep as much as you want for yourself, share it with friends and neighbors, or put up a food basket, go to verteiler. So what is only important is when you pick up the food, you have to pick up everything. So it's not possible to just pick the croissants filled with chocolate and leave the other things there. You have to take everything, and you have to make sure that everything is eaten. And so it's not possible to take it and then you throw away 2/3 of it at home, unless it's not edible anymore. So if it's rotten or whatever, you don't eat it. So yeah.
Do you have the idea to try also, let's say, official way with law? Because I read that in France, actually, it's now forbidden.
Mm-hmm.
All the organizational supermarkets has to propose first
Mm-hmm.
all these
Mm-hmm.
food to some kind of only if they will not accept it, then
I'm not familiar with any law like this that the supermarkets have an obligation to sell it at a lower price or make it available. What is legal? There is a legal basis though for these food saving corporations. So the organization has an official cooperation with the food sharing organization, and if anything happens with the food after they have picked it up, the supermarket and the restaurant cannot be made responsible for. So in that term, there is a legal agreement, but I don't know about the legislation regarding the requirements for supermarkets. Any other questions or comments or yeah?
I have a question about some supermarkets, they wouldn't, or the argument against that they often used was it could break down the price, you know. So it's not my opinion. I just say that was the opinion of some supermarkets, big chains. They didn't want to do that. They were like, yeah, well, that's destroys the prices. We can just pick it up for free, and why people would buy it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what do you respond to these arguments?
Well, basically, it's a good publicity for the companies as well, because they can tell their customers we don't throw anything away. So I think this also, especially like organic supermarkets who have a specific clientele, it can be a selling argument even, and they can reduce waste management costs. So you don't have 3 bins, but maybe just 1 or 2. You might save time as well in the evening, because the food savers take care of just packing everything into the boxes. Regarding the price, I mean, the supermarkets have the possibility to decrease the price and sell it. So we see that some cooperation partners, they sell until 5 o'clock for the full price, then they reduce it to 50% and only then give it away for free. So they had the chance to sell it, and usually it's things that they cannot sell anymore, like I showed before. You wouldn't pay the full price for this lemon, most of you. Yeah. Please.
I wonder if you could give me some advice. My son started a summer job 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and 2 or 3 working in a supermarket. So 2 or 3 times a week, after the evening shift, he comes home at about 8:30 or 9 with mountains of food. So which he gets for free on top of the job. You know, it's meat, it's cake, it's a lot of bread, it's salads. It's really expensive stuff for a value of in between 20 and 40 euros. You know? And I said, are you the only student there? And he says, no, there are 4 or 5 other students. They don't want to take anything home. Their poor parents probably do a lot of shopping, and their kids leave everything at the supermarket. Now, this is a small town.
Is it in Germany or?
Brussels, and we only have 1 homeless person. On one of 14,000 inhabitants. On one occasion, he happened to meet the man, and he offered him the food, and the man chose 2 or 3 things because he couldn't take all of that.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest?
Maybe you should check if there is a Verteiler, like a public fridge in Belgium. I don't know about the situation in Belgium. If it was in Germany, in most places there is. Or maybe he can set up a network. So I'm also doing that. I would like to set up a network in my neighborhood. So when I get too much food, I can send a message, and those who are interested can pick it up. So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, the logistics after picking so much food up for free, what to do with that food? But maybe that would be a possibility. Or he contacts, if he's really interested in this, contacts the German team to initiate something like this on a small scale even. The organization team in Germany. So I know, but they also take care of the internationalization of this. So he might contact them and say, okay, I'm getting food from a supermarket, and would you be interested? Give me some more information, or are there any contacts from food savers in Belgium? Maybe there are already registered food savers there.
Because the thing is, I mean, in Brussels, there's a lot of food sharing going on, but this is downtown, and by the time he comes home with food, the homeless people have already received their food.
But if there is already a community in Brussels, maybe he should first, that would be my advice, maybe connect first with the community in Belgium and then find out more information. Maybe there is a homeless center or a school, whatever. Yeah.
The stuff will be good for breakfast, or maybe frozen.
Yeah, but contact the local team, yeah. Any other questions or comments? So then thank you very much for your attention and for your interest. If you're interested in the topic, you can stay here and we can talk about. Also, I would like to make a small advertisement. I have forgotten your name, but Caroline, thank you very much. Sorry for forgetting your name. Caroline is also very much interested in reducing plastic waste. And if you're interested in that topic, it's also waste reduction, but not food, but plastic. She's also very happy to get in touch with you, to discuss it with you. And she would also like to speak about her personal experience if someone is interested. So Caroline is here in the front, so she will also stay here. And if you are interested, you can just walk up to her and talk about the topic. So thank you very much.